Once again, here in the 757, we're doing a deep dive during our Commonwealth Conversation series, looking at foundations that are making an impact in our community. Today we have with us none other than NSU alum, former NFL player and alum, and current City Council member Don Carey, here to talk about the Reech Foundation. We'll be right back. It's Stay the Water. I'm your host, Dr. Claville. Welcome back. It's Stay in the Water. I'm your host, Dr. Claville. Listen, we're so happy that you're joining us once again on this beautiful Sunday here in Hampton Roads, Virginia, as we broadcast, as we always do, on the campus of the Norfolk State University on WNSB Hot 91, the soul of VA. Like as always, we got with us our producer of the show, DJ Scandalous. Marvin, folks, that you can hear live every day, Monday through Friday, from 2 to 6 p.m. here on WNSB. Listen, I don't know about you, but this past weekend was absolutely phenomenal. Not only did we have an epic homecoming, a phenomenal coming back of all of our alums, friends, stakeholders to campus. You know, it was great. We had over 22,000 in the stands, another 20-plus thousand out on the yard. I mean, it was phenomenal. Not one incident. People had a great time. So many great things happened throughout the week as well. You know, that really kicked it off. The Friday on the yard, people coming, the band, the Spartan Legion like no other. Starting us off with that homecoming, it was phenomenal. But also, on Monday after homecoming, we had our very own alum, NSU alum, Aaron Carter, that organized the renaming of a street in the city of Portsmouth for none other than Portsmouth's own Missy Elliott, to Missy Elliott Boulevard. And it was so beautiful, so wonderful. We had so many people there. Not only that, but we also had the Spartan Legion to close it out. Listen, go to our page, our Facebook, go to our LinkedIn, go to the link. You'll see the pictures from it. You'll go to social media. You'll see it everywhere. But it was phenomenal. Listen, it was nothing but love in that place. So we were great to be there. It was a great time. And hats off to Aaron Carter, who's really making her name for herself and doing great things. Look, you know, we've been engaged in this Commonwealth Conversation series where I've been taking a look and delving into discussion about foundations, delving into these various organizations and people that are doing great things here in our community. And we've got now a gentleman who's on the line that I've been trying to get to, and luckily we were able to make that connection, but it's none other than one of our favorite alums here at NSU, also alum of the Booker T. Washington High School right here, and also NFL alum and current city councilman, none other than Councilmember Don Carey. Don, how you do today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, listen, you got so many titles here. You've done phenomenal things in your short time that you've been here. I don't know how you keep it all together.
Me neither. So I tell you, I've been blessed to have a great support system. My family is still in Norfolk, still in a house that I was raised in, my mom and my dad. I have a phenomenal wife who walks beside me, and she helps me out with all the ventures. She held the family down when I was in the NFL, and she's holding the family down now while I'm sitting on city council. So life is a blessing. I have nothing to complain about.
Absolutely. And listen, I just want to talk about the connection here, but your wife was actually a former student when I was a professor at Southern University Law Center.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal lawyer. You know, I tell people I tricked her pretty good when she agreed to marry me. You know, if she ever leaves me, I'm going with her.
I hear it. Listen, and hats off to her. Congratulations for also being recognized as one of the top 40 under 40 here in the Hampton Roads area for the work that she's doing. So, again, you're extremely blessed. So, One thing I want to talk about is, like I said, we're talking about our Commonwealth Conversation series and looking at foundations here in the 757, but also across the Commonwealth. And you have a foundation. Like I said, you wear many hats, but you've got a foundation where you're making an indelible impact in the lives of young people, not just in athletics, but also in academics as well. It's called the Reech Foundation. Tell us about what the Reech Foundation is.
Sure. So the Don Carey Reech Foundation utilizes sports to educate students about the STEM jobs that exist within our area. And Reech actually is an acronym, REECH. It means reaching, educating, empowering children.
Wow. And when you talk about utilizing athletics to educate children, we see a lot of former athletes and current athletes, they hold camps, and those are phenomenal things to do. But a lot of times you don't see the connection to academics. Why was it so important for you to connect athletics and academics together?
Well, that really stems from my background. Growing up, my family put a high emphasis on sports. If I didn't get a particular grade, I wasn't playing football that week. And I was no different than most NFL players who hold camps in football drills, and that was it. But I learned pretty early in my NFL career that 0.0008% of high school football players are going to make it to the NFL. So what I wanted to do was model the old slogan of the NCAA, which said something to the effect of there are 300,000 athletes, playing college sports. Most of them are going pro in something other than sports. Right. So if we could utilize the natural hook of sports to bring kids in by the hundreds and the thousands at the height of what the Reech Foundation was operating around the country, and then expose them to something greater, or something that was just as advantageous or beneficial to them in terms of lucrative careers, then I thought it was worthwhile.
Give us that statistic again. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact, but how many actually make it of NCAA athletes?
No, it's 0.0008. So a decimal, 3 zeros, and an 8. It is infinitesimally small.
That's not even 1%.
Yeah, no, that's like 1/1,000,000 of a percent.
But again, I think it's very important for kids to understand that. And one thing we have here at Norfolk State, we tout our president under her leadership, Dr. J, and then our phenomenal athletic director, Melanie Webb. One thing that we tout is the graduation rate, of our students. We have over 70% graduation rate of our athletes, that come out of this great institution. And like you said, they're going to go pro in something else other than sports. And to have that academic base so that you're not going out into this world disadvantaged, I mean, that speaks volumes. And that's exactly what your foundation is doing.
Yeah, I was blessed to go to Norfolk State, and Norfolk State has had a culture of excellence for many, many years now. And long before I knew I was making it to the NFL, getting drafted into the NFL, I had a job in my degree field based on the relationships that professors had with different organizations or firms around the country. So Dr. J has continued to uplift and even make better a legacy of excellence. And now she has taken it not just being excellent, but being caring, a culture of care, right? Of what she is kind of emphasizing now, which I think is phenomenal.
And that's key, because in a world where people are trying to, hook into their cash cow, if I can use that terminology,
mm-hmm.
You rarely find people in that business that care about you. And that's part of the HBCU experience. As a matter of fact, tell us about your experience here at Norfolk State. If we could just detour for a quick moment.
Sure. I would not change anything about my time at Norfolk State. Wow. It is a culture all unto itself, and that means something because I'm from Norfolk. I went to Booker T. Washington High School. I saw the Twin Towers, from the front of the building every single morning, and it's easy to kind of get this mindset, that's just Norfolk State. But once you actually enroll and you experience the culture of Norfolk State, you realize that it's something different about my school. And the connections I have with the professors, the camaraderie I have with the football players, the relationships I built on campus. I mean, these are people that I still keep in touch with today.
Wow.
And I've been at graduate schools after leaving Norfolk State. But the one thing that pales in comparison is the relationship you have with your professors. I still talk to my professors today. They still have connections today. Whereas in some of these graduate level courses that I'm in, so for example, I'm in Indiana University right now. I'm just another number, another student in the classroom that I don't have the connection with the professors that like I did at Norfolk State University, and that means something to me.
Absolutely. Again, that's that difference that HBCUs add, the value. Like I said, not just being another number, but being someone who is valued for more than who you are. You know, you hosted a camp at your alma mater, Booker T. Washington, and you also introduced the students and academics of STEAM, you know, which for the acronym is for science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics. Tell us about that partnership with Booker T. Washington, that camp, and then the STEAM introduction for that particular group.
Sure. So our STEAM Day and Youth Football Camp is kind of a flagship program of the Reech Foundation. Prior to the pandemic and during my NFL years, we were operating in Michigan, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, Virginia, and Florida. We will host camps in all of these cities, impacting nearly 2,000 students through the camp. So the purpose of the camp, again, is to bring students in with the hook of sports, but they would also be surrounded in this environment of STEM, or STEAM, I should say, with different companies in the area, showing them through hands-on activities the type of jobs they could go after, to kind of dispel the notion that you need to leave where you're from to find success. Now, there's nothing wrong with going to an Atlanta or to a Houston or to a New York to find success. Those are prominent, successful places. But to think that Hampton Roads, to think that Norfolk and Chesapeake and Portsmouth, Virginia Beach don't have those type of jobs that can make you successful is a problem, because it's not true. So we wanted to do the work to kind of show the students, and more particularly our inner city students who are typically exposed, you know, to these diverse career opportunities, that, hey, no, there's something here for you. You don't have to leave. In fact, we hope that you stay and you show individuals who are coming after you what multi-generational success looks like.
Absolutely. Look, that's phenomenal. But you know what? You're not just doing it for kids in K through 12, but you're also doing it for kids on the college level. You know, in 2019, you also donated to Tidewater Community College STEM Promise Program, where your foundation actually purchased textbooks. You gave a donation to purchase textbooks for these scholars. Tell us about that initiative.
Sure. So that year, we purchased the textbooks because we wanted to make sure that students who were going into STEM careers had, you know, the type of literature that they needed. We also gave scholarships to high school students who were pursuing STEM careers, whether it be at TCC, Norfolk State, or ODU. So again, it's one thing to kind of show what these job possibilities are. It's another thing to help lay a viable roadmap to accomplishing, you know, these things now. And to kind of piggyback off of this, I've used the concept from the Reech Foundation and I've maximized it through my position on city council now. Whereas with the Reech Foundation, we would work with 400 kids during the camp and maybe 100 kids during the school year. We're now going to impact 3,200 eighth graders. Every eighth grader within the city of Chesapeake is going to experience the STEM portion of the Reech Foundation in what we're calling the Chesapeake World of Works, with a WOW for short. And that's going to be next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we're looking forward to that.
Wow. This is Stay the Water. I'm your host, Dr. Claville, where we're delving into a conversation of our Commonwealth Conversation series with none other than NSU alum Don Carey, who is the founder of the Reech Foundation, which uses athletics as a catalyst in order to connect with and educate students about careers in STEM. So Don, after all of these, you're providing these opportunities to children, K through 12, these scholarships to individuals in college. Tell us about some of the success stories that you've seen so far, the impact that the Reech Foundation has made.
Oh man, so we're in our infancy stages here in Norfolk in terms of having a continual presence. But I can tell you the work we've done in Detroit, 'cause that's where the Reech Foundation was born.
Right.
I talked to some of those students who are now in college, right? Who just wanted to be athletes, just want to be football players, but now they're in school at Wayne State University, and they're studying engineering, or they're studying in the medical field. I remember in 2014, we brought a group of middle school kids to Wayne State to watch their medical school work on cadavers. Right, Wayne State is one of the few universities that still dissect human remains, and the students were exposed to that. And there are several of the students who were just amazed. But those two students have now gone on to pursue the medical field from that experience. So the work that we're doing is very transformational. It takes a while for you to see the fruit, but it's so rewarding when you get that phone call from a parent or from a student saying, "Thank you for exposing me to this. I am now doing this."
Everything has a beginning, but the fact that you started while you were during your NFL career in Detroit, but you brought it back with you back home. A lot of people, they go away and they're educated in a certain place, and they work there for so many years and they settle in because they have roots and connection. But you came back home. Why? What made you decide to come back?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I miss my family. My mom, my dad, my siblings, they're all here. Aunties and uncles are all here. Secondly, I miss the area. So being in the NFL, I've been blessed to travel the world, certainly the country, and you're not missing anything here in Hampton Roads. You're not. You can get pretty much everything that you're looking for that you can get any other places. We have mountains, we have beach, we have valleys, we have the plains, we have nightlife, entertainment, all here in this little cul-de-sac of a place. There is so much culture here that I think people miss because you don't travel to see how much you have here. So you really can appreciate it. You would think of Miami with the nightlife and all those things, but that is nightlife and beaches is what they have. But you have that here plus more. So Hampton Roads has a place in my heart. The people here have a place in my heart. The culture here has a place in my heart. And anything I could do to kind of help promulgate and enhance the lifestyles here, then I want to be a part of that.
Absolutely. I tell people all the time, because I'm a transplant as well, and when I came to Hampton Roads, didn't really know much about the area, but literally fell in love with this area. It's got everything. Like you said, it's got history, it's got entertainment, it's got the beach, it's got the mountains, it's got the country area, it's got the city, it's got the nightlife, it's got the culture, it's got the museums. I mean, it's got the things for kids, the zoos. Everything you want, we got it right here in the Seven Cities. So I don't know if they need you and I, on the tourist commercial, to sell the area, but it pretty much sells itself.
Yeah, and I think it's evident by the fact that people come here, but they stay here. Right. If this area wasn't as phenomenal as we're trying to make it seem, people would come and leave. So I think the work needs to be done in helping the indigenous people to here realize that, no, this is a pretty phenomenal place.
Absolutely. Don, we talked about some of the past events and of Reech and some of the initiatives and the reason why you started it. Tell us about, what's coming up or what you're preparing for as it relates to your foundation.
Sure. So I'll start with the foundation first. The reason we began the Reech Foundation is in Detroit. We were hosting football camps, but we were hosting our football camps in the worst parts of the city. We were working off Joy Road on the west side, and what I saw is schools dealing with 3-4 different type of gangs in the elementary, middle schools. I saw students struggling to read at an adequate level. Math and science were not a focus. So I'm like, okay, if I could host a camp and in the worst area of the city, and the gangbangers will leave the block for that day, the crime kind of ceases in that area for that day, and we can have several hundred of these youth together to have a good time. I wonder if I could also use that to kind of steer them to something greater, right, towards that NCAA motto. And we began to work with different organizations in Detroit to put something together as kind of like a pilot to see if it would work. And my God, we were shocked that even though the pitch was football, and we would have the kids about 6 hours, they would only spend 45 minutes playing football. The rest of the time they were doing STEM activities. And so the students would initially be disappointed that they're going to a STEM activity, but once they act, because they can't play football. Let's be real, they can't play football. But once they experience robotics and circuits and drones and science and architecture and all these things, you can see the light bulbs was going off in their mind. And to the point where we would have to pull them away from the STEM stuff, and now we're going to do some football stuff. So we thought we had something. Again, this is back in 2013 when we began to do that. The only issue with those initial programs is they're only one day. And we wanted to maximize the impact with the students, so we began to work within the middle schools to have a STEM in schools program, in which we would work within the school on a monthly or bi-monthly basis to continue with some of these STEM activities, and we bring companies into the school to work with the students to show them what they could possibly be in the future, and also take them to the campuses. So that's kind of where our focus has been the past couple of years of growing that program. And we've done some really, really good work. I'm proud of the way we've been able to expose our students to the different job possibilities that exist in the area. And that really is what means a lot to me. Like, I want people to be good football players. Don't get it wrong. I play football. But I also want to help aid individuals in taking that raw material of who they are as children and developing them into productive citizens to society.
Absolutely. Definitely the Reech Foundation making a difference here in the community. Don, when you talk about exposing them to other careers, especially in STEM, here you went to NSU and Norfolk, or like as we like to say, the Norfolk State University.
Behold,
degree to go. You've gone here, and a lot of persons know that at the time, Vice President Joe Biden and Congressman Don Scott, a great friend of the university, in 2015 came, and as we launched a cybersecurity program here, and the cybersecurity program has grown extensively from a master's. You can get a bachelor's, master's degree. And we see a lot of opportunities in cybersecurity, a lot of opportunities in other STEM areas. Are you looking at partnerships or have partnerships with agencies, companies, or governmental agencies to kind of bridge that gap to connect your students, which are going to be alums of the Reech Foundation or those impacted, to those job opportunities?
Oh, yeah. So you mentioned the cybersecurity program. One of the major catalysts for that was a gentleman by the name of Victor Brown, who works for IBM. He also was an alumni of Norfolk State University and a good friend of mine. He and I worked together, right, to make sure that, again, the students are exposed. So we plant the seeds of possibilities at the 8th grade level.
Oh, wow.
But as they matriculate through, we make sure that they're staying in schools through a partnership we have with an organization called Communities in Schools, who has the ability to track students as they go through high school and make those decisions where they're going to go to college. We also partner with the Hampton Roads Workforce Council, which again aids us in laying that roadmap so that students can, and check the partnership, students can learn about the STEM opportunities from the Reech Foundation, lay the roadmap through the Hampton Roads Workforce Council, and then have the accountability of communities and schools to track them through as they make it through high school on to graduation. So we're extremely excited. We think we have something serious here. I mean, it's definitely the long game we're playing. But hopefully within a couple of years, we see our first cohorts graduating from high school and making it to, the collegiate level.
Man, that is phenomenal.
Or even going into the military or going into right into the workforce too.
Absolutely. And, when you talk about the military, the workforce, when you talk about cybersecurity, and you're right, Victor, played an extremely phenomenal part in getting that program and connecting. Right now in cybersecurity, you can actually go straight into, a job making, 75, 80 plus thousand, up to $100,000 a year, with certifications and a bachelor's degree. That type of career, that type of money, not just changes lives, but it changes generations.
And again, the big part of that is just the exposure, to let the students know this is available for you.
Absolutely. So if you want to if you're listening out there over the airways, if you want to get involved, exposed to a new field, reach out to the Reech Foundation and also Norfolk State University, for our cybersecurity and STEM initiatives, whether you're K through 12 or you're getting ready considering college or you want to learn more about it. You've got somebody here who came through the process, has a Bachelor of Science from Norfolk State University, has a foundation, went out and did great things in athletics and in the NFL, that's doing phenomenal things. Don, we got a few minutes here, and I want to ask you how the people can get involved and where they can reach you. But before we do that, I wanted you to talk about the moment that you were awarded the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award.
Yeah, sure. That was a phenomenal day. I don't do the work, or we don't do the work. It's not just me. We don't do the work we do in the community because we're looking for accolades. We do the work in the community because, number one, that's where our heart is. Our heart is for people, and people who look like us more specifically. We also do the work because we realize that I wouldn't have gotten to where I've gotten to unless somebody reached back and pulled me along the way. So for the guys on the football team up in Detroit to recognize what the work we're doing and to want to bestow such a high honor, it nearly brought me to tears. I really appreciate and honor them for that. So if anyone wants to, get connected with the Reech Foundation or learn about what we have going on, because there's several other programs that I didn't mention, you simply go to reechfoundation.org. That's REECH foundation.org. And you can learn more about us, some of the things that we do. You also can contact us from there for volunteer or maybe even sponsorship opportunities.
Absolutely. Don Carey. That is Don Carey, NSU alum, and also right down the street, BTW alum, NFL alum, and current city councilman for the city of Chesapeake, and founder of the Reech Foundation, doing phenomenal things here in the community, giving back, using athletics as a catalyst to connect and educate the youth about STEM opportunities for science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and for all of our faculty and students in liberal arts, it's STEAM, so the arts as well. Don, any closing words that you have for us?
Yeah, I want to say thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to talk about the Reech Foundation. Again, if anyone wants to learn more about the Reech Foundation, go to reechfoundation.org. And again, thank you all for the work that you're doing.
Well, once again, we thank you for joining us here on Stay in the Water. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Claville. And right after this, we know coming up is Blair Durham, who is the founder of Black Brands, to talk about Black Wall Street. What are those financial tips and opportunities to help you be your better financial self? Once again, we thank you for joining us. And as always, give God all the praise, all the glory, because it's He that allows us to do what we do. Until next time, we'll see you again.